He thought he was happy, real, grounded, nothing to hide happy. Sundays were sacred. Barbecue, music, and her hand always resting on his back. To the outside world, they were the couple everyone envied. She laughed at his bad jokes. He kissed her forehead when she wasn't looking. He believed in them. He believed in her. He had no idea that day would be the last time he felt safe in her arms. The smile on her face wasn't fake, but it wasn't for him. And everything he knew, every memory, was about to be rewritten. Because sometimes betrayal doesn't knock. It grins at you while holding your hand. And he was still blind when the cracks started to show. The email came at 11:04 p.m. No subject line, no sender name. He almost deleted it. Almost. Inside, 5 images. All low quality, but clear enough. His wife, wrapped in another man's arms. Same sweater. Same earrings he gave her. The timestamps were even worse. Lunch hours, weeknights she claimed to be running late. Year. His throat closed. His fingers hovered over the trackpad, shaking. It couldn't be real. Maybe it was old. Maybe it was edited. But the last photo, her car parked outside a motel. Yesterday. He stared at the screen for a full minute before breathing again. And when he did, it came out as a whisper. No. No, no, no. No. She was home. In the shower. Humming. The same woman in those photos was humming. He paced outside the bathroom, pulse hammering, breath short. Should he ask her? Confront her? Pretend for one more night? He tried to hear guilt in her voice, but all he heard was steam and shampoo. He looked down at the phone again, her face frozen mid-kiss, mid-literai. Everything in him wanted to believe it was a mistake, but the truth was already in the room, and it smelled like her perfume. He raised his hand to knock and stopped, because once he opened this door, nothing would ever be the same again. He told her he had a late shift. She smiled and kissed his cheek. But he wasn't going to work. He was going to watch. The motel sat like a secret at the edge of town. At 9:18 p.m., her car pulled in. Alone. Just like in the photo. She didn't hesitate. Didn't look back. He gripped a steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. She wasn't lost. She wasn't confused. She was practiced. Minutes later, a man walked out from room 203 and met her at the door. No hugs. No hesitation. Just routine. And that's when the heartbreak turned to rage. She came home humming again. Hair damp. Smiling like nothing happened. He stood in the kitchen, arms crossed, phone in hand. She paused. Her smile twitched. What's wrong? How long have you been lying to me? He asked, calm but shaking. Her face went still. That's when he knew. No denial, just calculation. What are you talking about? She whispered. He tossed the phone on the counter. It landed face up, displaying the photos. She stared for 2 seconds too long. I can explain, she said. But they both knew she couldn't. That's when the silence turned lethal. And the man he was started to vanish. He left without a word. No yelling, no throwing things. Just keys, door, road. His mind replayed everything. Every laugh, every night she said, I love you. G-L-B. It all felt poisoned now. Like love wrapped in glass shards. The way she didn't deny it. The way she looked more annoyed than ashamed. He wondered how many times she looked him in the eye and lied. Wondered if the last few years had been hers alone. A life he wasn't even in. The road stretched endlessly, but his thoughts wouldn't quiet. He didn't know where he was going, only that he couldn't go back. He hadn't eaten in a day. Sleep was worse. The bartender didn't ask questions, just refilled the glass. He scrolled through old texts. Her I love yous read like poison now. Every emoji, every pet name, weapons now. He texted her once. Was he better? Then deleted it before sending. Because he wasn't trying to win her back. He was trying to understand what she destroyed. But there's no logic in betrayal. Only impact. And right now it felt like free fall. The man next to him said, "You okay?" He laughed. "No. Wow. But thanks for asking." Yizai, Hanimisai. He didn't want to tell anyone. But pain doesn't like to stay quiet. So he told his mother, the only one who'd listen without flinching. She read the messages, saw the photos, covered her mouth. "You did everything for her," she whispered. He nodded. He didn't want sympathy. He wanted the lie to make sense. But even his mother couldn't explain it. Just shook her head and said, "Some people destroy good things because they think they're temporary." Yes, she and Polio, that are both. He didn't cry in front of her. Not once. But the second she left, he dropped to his knees and stayed there. He hadn't meant to show them. But the conversation drifted, as it always does, to marriage. Someone joked, "You're lucky. She's perfect." Lee, Esaliza. He pulled the photo from his jacket, placed it on the table. Laughter stopped. Forks froze mid-air. "That's her," he said. "And that's the man she said was just a co-worker." Silence dropped like a bomb between them. One friend stood up. Another looked away. He didn't want comfort. He wanted the world to stop pretending she was innocent. "So, yeah," he said, raising his glass, voice shaking. "To honesty." He drank alone, but at least the lie wasn't his anymore. The message came 3 days after silence. "Can we talk? Please." Yelizua. He stared at it like it might explode. The nerve. The audacity to reach back now, after everything. She hadn't apologized. Not once. Not fully. Just excuses. Deflections. And now, desperation? He didn't respond right away. He let her wait. Because for the first time, her discomfort didn't feel like his fault. She made the mess. Now she could sit in it. And he had nothing left to offer her. He started packing slowly, frame by frame, year by year. Their wedding photo, boxed. The concert ticket she framed for his birthday, in the trash. It wasn't anger anymore, just detachment. Memories didn't hurt when you stopped calling them yours. This wasn't his home now, just a space full of things that meant nothing anymore. He folded her sweater and set it on the bed. There was still love there, somewhere, but it was buried beneath too many lies to matter. And he wasn't in the mood to dig. The divorce was quicker than he expected. No fights, no drama, just papers, ink, paint. Goodbye. She didn't show up in person. Sent her lawyer instead. Of course she did. He signed without shaking, without looking back. People think the hard part is letting go. But sometimes, the hardest part is realizing you already did, long before it was official. Outside, the sky looked the same. But he didn't. He wasn't healed. But he wasn't hers anymore either. And for now, that was enough. He hadn't cried. Not when he found out. Not when he signed the papers. But the ocean didn't care about pride. He sat with the waves humming in his ears and let it all hit him at once. The betrayal. The silence. The what could have beens. Tears came quietly like the tide, rising, then retreating. Not because he still loved her, but because he remembered the man who did. And saying goodbye to him hurt more than losing her. He buried his face in his hands and let himself break. Because healing doesn't start until something ends completely. And this was the final wave. It started with small things. Books, music, morning walks. He relearned his own name, the parts of himself untouched by her. The bookstore owner remembered him. You used to come in with your wife. Yeah, tiny. And he smiled, but didn't correct her. Just said, I come alone now. Still counts. Nisio, man. He found a poetry book, the kind she never liked. And for the first time in months, he bought something just for himself. The cashier asked, New chapter? He nodded. Something like that. Hey. It wasn't happiness. Not yet. But it was something lighter than sorrow. And that felt like progress. He didn't plan to change his hair. It just happened. New mirror. New cut. New man staring back. He touched his jawline like it was unfamiliar. In a way, it was. This man looked tired, yes, but also clean. Untethered. The barber said, Rough week? He laughed. Rough marriage, he answered. The man in the mirror didn't look broken, just weathered. He stood, paid, and left with his head held higher. Sometimes the smallest changes feel like defiance, and sometimes they feel like survival. The photos had waited long enough. He sat cross-legged on the floor, shoebox open, history scattered around him. There she was, smiling in sunlight, hand in his. He didn't rip it, didn't burn it, just looked. Then, slowly, slid it into the back of the box. It wasn't about keeping her memory. It was about releasing his. Not everything broken has to be destroyed. Some things can just be set down. He closed the box, taped it shut, and stacked it in the corner where it would never be reached again. Mornings used to be heavy. Now, they were quiet, manageable. He ran before the world woke up, before the questions and memories could catch up. 1 mile became 2. 2 became 3. His lungs burned. His legs ached. But his chest felt lighter. Music played in his ears. His own playlist, not one they made together. No matching cups. No framed vows. Just movement. Just breath. Every step felt like a refusal to stay broken. Not a recovery. A rebellion. He didn't run from her. He ran for the man who finally stopped needing her. He never planned to write it down. But some stories demand to be witnessed, even if just by paper. He wrote about the betrayal, the unraveling, the survival. Not for revenge, not for pity, but because pain leaves residue, and truth rinses it out. He closed the notebook and watched the sun drop behind the skyline. No texts, no apologies, no final messages, and for once, he didn't need any. This wasn't about who left him. It was about who stayed, and it was him.